Good morning, children. This is the explanation of the poem The Darkling Thrush by Thomas Hardy. Book Reverie, page number 6. This is a meditative poem, thoughtful poem, where the poet is talking about the death of a century. Death here means end. Which century is ending? The 19th century is ending. And the 20th century is beginning. Now, in the 20th century, there had been industrial revolution and many changes were brought about due to the revolution in the society, in politics, in the economy of the country, and also in the religious beliefs of the people. As the poet belongs to the 19th century, he feels that a civilization has decayed and he does not know what will replace it. The poet is in a depressed, dejected mood, and in the first two paragraphs, this sorrowful mood is expressed. Now, beginning with the poem. I lent. I refers to the poet. He is leaning upon a coppice gate. Coppice is an area of woodland where trees are cut. Why are the trees cut? To facilitate growth. Now, the leaning of the poet denotes his tiredness, and the gate denotes entry into something new. So, where is the poet entering? From the 19th century into the 20th century. The frost, the environment, it is winter, and frost has covered the landscape into a grey color, which gives a ghostly appearance. The speaker, our poet, he is present on a barren landscape, and it is winter. The evening is frosty, which is making the landscape spectre grey. Spectre grey means as grey as a ghost. As I have already told you, the grey color in English literature denotes gloominess. And winter dregs. Dregs are the leftover bits. Made desolate the weakening eye of the sun. What does the weakening eye of the sun mean? Eye refers to the sun. Which is the eye of the day? The sun. It is weakening, means the sun is setting. And because of the setting sun, the twilight is deserted, desolate, lonely. And the winter dregs means the leftover bit of the day. After sunset, a little portion of the day remains. That leftover bit has become very lonely. Why? Because the sun is setting. Then the poet makes a reference of the tangled. Tangled means joined together, intertwined, bind stems. Bind stems are the stems of a shrub, and these entangled bind stems, they seem to reach the sky, and the poet is comparing these bind stems to strings of broken lyres. Lyre is a musical instrument. which is similar to a harp. So there is a simile over here where the poet is comparing of the climbing shrubs to an old broken musical instrument. There is also a reference of the summer season through these tangled stems, making the winter seem to be more harsh. Now, children, pay attention that the strings of the musical instrument are broken. What does this suggest? Absence of harmony and joy in the speaker's vision of life. He feels that this transition period of the 19th century having ended and the entry into the 20th century is of no joy. In the last two lines of this stanza, the poet presents a contrast between the lonely outdoor and the warm and inviting nature of the inside households. Where is the poet? He is outside. He is outside on the barren, frosty land, while the rest of the world, all the mankind that haunted nigh means the rest of the world which is near him, what have they sought? They have sought the comfort of their household fires. For the poet, the world is a bleak, cold, colorless place, and he has only a few memories of melody, but the warmth of life has vanished. He is no more in a happy mood. The second stanza intensifies, increases the speaker's perception, look of the gloom. And what does he say? The land's sharp features seem to be the centuries. Cosp is dead body. Outland means stretched out. The landscape for the poet is the dead body of the 19th century stretched out. This is a metaphor, children. He is taking the land to be the dead body of the 19th century stretched out. And his crypt, the tomb, the cloudy canopy, the crypt of the dead body, the tomb of the dead body is the cloudy sky ahead. And the wind, the sound of the winter wind, is its death lament. Is its death lament means the wind is singing the death of the 19th century. I repeat again, children, the cloudy sky seems to be the tomb of the century. Tomb is the place where you keep the dead body. And the winter wind is the death song. All these are metaphors. The poet has used a series of metaphors and all are associated with death. The ancient pulse of germ and death. This ancient pulse refers to the seeds which becomes hard and dry in winter. What does it signify? It signifies that life has come to a standstill. Nature depicting life has come to a standstill and maybe next spring might not come. The seeds have shrunken. They have become hard and dry. This means that each person Each spirit on the earth has become passionless, feelingless, emotionless, just like the speaker himself. Here, the speaker is not just telling that the earth or the century has become dead, but he feels that the very pulse of life that energizes him and people around, that pulse is dead. Now, what is that pulse, children? It is hope. Hope keeps a man alive even in disastrous situation. Today we all are in a very disastrous situation, but still there is hope that things will come to a righteous path. So in the first two paragraphs, the speaker mostly speaks about his sorrowfulness on the death or the end of the 19th century. Moving on further to the third paragraph. Here the tone of the poem changes from desolation, loneliness to hope. How? At once, all of a sudden, a voice arose, a voice burst out. Where did the voice burst out from? The bleak, the cold, twigs overhead, the twigs of that vine stem. From there, a voice bursted out. And this voice was a full-hearted evening song. Full-hearted means joyful, being sung from the heart. Evening song is a reference to the evening service of worshipping God. And joy illimited. Illimited means the joy in the song was unlimited. Now, from where is this song being heard? Where is their hope lying in spite of the dejection and the sorrow? It is an aged, old thrush. Thrush is a songbird, children. Usually it has brown feathers on the top, and the breast is spotted. So this is an old thrush. Frail. Frail means feeble, weak, thin. Gaunt is thin and small. So you have to take into consideration the description of the thrush. Old, thin, weak, in blast beruffled plume, and it seems that the strong gust of wind had disordered the feathers of the bird, and perhaps the bird is facing its imminent death, yet it has chosen to sing a joyful, meaningful song in the evening. Now, children, here the aged bird also refers to the last day of the century, the end of the century. But the bird has not lost hope. It knows that it will die, yet the soul is joyfully singing in the dark evening. Now this bird has chosen thus to fling his soul. Fling means sing out its soul upon the glowing gloom. The bird knows that the twilight is deepening, the night is approaching, yet it has chosen to sing a song. Why? Because it is not losing its hope. It is not giving up to its desperation. In this paragraph, children, you have to remember that indirect reference to the suffering of Christ and finally his death on the cross, followed by the resurrection, the coming alive of Christ from death, is bringing hope to mankind. There is an indirect reference of the crucifixion of Christ in the third stanza. At the end, the last stanza of the poem, there is a sense of life. There is hope, which is brought about by the song of the word. The bird's song. The poet says, so little cause for carolings. What are carolings? Carolings are, you can say singings. Actually, it is the remain of the Christmas carols. But here you can refer it to as singing. The poet thinks that what is the cause of such ecstatic sound? Why is this bird singing so joyfully? He cannot find any reason to be happy, and he cannot experience any joy within himself. He is telling that what is the cause of this song of such ecstatic sound was written on terrestrial things afar or nigh around, which means there is no inspiration in the different earthly things, whether it be far or nearby. The poet cannot find any reason to be happy. Then why is the bird singing a song of hope? Why is the bird not exhausted of life? Why is it acting as a harbinger, as a messenger of hope? That I could think there trembled through. That I could think means I can find no reason. No reason on this earth which can fill me with life and hope. I cannot comprehend. I cannot understand the cause of the joy of the bird. His happy good night air. Why the bird is so joyful in the night air. Some blessed hope. Now pay attention that hope is in capital letters because it represents the three Christian virtues. What are the three virtues followed by the Christians? Faith, hope, and charity. So these are the three virtues, or these are the spiritual reasons which the poet thinks are the cause of the bird's song, that the poet is unaware of. There is faith in God, and when you have faith, you develop hope, and when you have hope, you start loving things around you. So we can see that in this poem, the poet actually in the first two stanzas makes the world appear physically dead. The second stanza continues with this sense, and he also says that the pulse of creation seems to be dead and the nature has come to a standstill. Whereas in the last two stanzas, the nature being represented by the singing thrush displays a sudden movement. This song of the thrush does not originate from anything in terrestrial things. That is, the song is not inspired by anything which is immediate, but the poet says through the bird that there is a hope, there is some joy which compensates for the pain the men and women endure or might have endured through the century. The song of the thrush can only be heard as an ironic comment on the joyless state of humanity. And though there is no hope, no joy, yet the darkling thrush, which is an apt title for the poem, means towards the end, still we have hope, and we can always transform from the mood of death into joy of optimism. The heightening of the poet's despair is contrasted to the song of the thrush, which keeps on singing with unlimited joy, even though it is old, feeble, and thin. The poem is speaking of a bleak future which is overcome by the symbol of hope represented by the thrush's song. Thank you, children.